I have no filter these days. Yeah, it's a fake way of bonding, really.
Quiet.
So,
Did not go well.
and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back that led to my total emotional breakdown. Thank you, Melissa, for listening to your intuition.
My mom being dead.
And Angie.
Just see you next time.
See you next time. Okay, let's go fast. 1, 2, 3.
Unquiet soul.
Okay.
Hi, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
I
good.
like your nails. I just
Thank
noticed
you.
them again.
Don't look too close because this has glue all over it. But otherwise, we're looking cute. We're
It's
looking
good.
cute. Let's look at this little. Look at that.
I like it.
Gold. Okay.
Like the little
I'm just
dainty.
thrilled that they're staying on for 2 weeks.
Wait, are those like fake nails with the
Yes.
design already on them?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you got them done. Ooh, they
Uh-uh.
look really good.
They're press on, sis. I did have to clip them.
Okay, press-ons
Um,
have come a long way.
they really have. And now, did I talk to you about this? I feel like I told you about this last week about these two girls that have come up on my TikTok, and so I've watched both of them. They design press-ons. Like they
Yeah.
do their own press-ons. And I'm like, damn. The way, and I wish Charlie would just like be chill with that, because if you go get all of that stuff put on your nails because she likes the charms and the whatever, I
Yeah.
paid $100 for her to get her nails done for her birthday last year.
That's why I started doing my own nails. Like, even in terms of before I started doing nail art, I would still do my own manicures. Like, I'd have the cuticle stuff and everything. Like, I just do my own. I've always done my own since like
Well,
college.
I I could never cut my cuticles. I didn't know how, and I
Oh,
hurt myself once.
you
So
don't
I
have
got
to
this
cut
new
them.
cuticle cutter. It's not the clippy one. It's this little, like, it's got like a little slit in between this little fork looking thing, and you just kind of slide it around your cuticles.
Oh, like a guard.
Yeah, and it is, I don't know if you can tell, but my cuticles look good.
I actually
And then
know
I
when
had
you
used
sent
to
me
buy
that
oil.
picture, that was the first thing I noticed, which is, I guess, why I thought you got a manicure.
See, no, baby, I gave myself one. I'll be doing all the prep work, which my Gemini ass does not appreciate. I mean, before I wouldn't do all the prep work steps because it annoyed the
Oh,
shit. I don't like to sit down and take a long time to do something. But now I'm like, it's so worth it because they're staying for 2 weeks and I look like I got my nails done,
see,
right?
and that's what people don't get. Like, it lasts longer when you do the prep work. And I get what you're saying, but I treat it because I do my nails on Sundays. It's like a ritual for me. It's like, oh, I'm gonna
Yes.
spend an hour doing my nails, and like I love that.
It's become that for me too. Like I'm like, okay, this is part of the thing because I am trying to, I told you I've been not going back to sleep after Charlie goes to sleep, let or to school. Let me tell you, she's on spring break this week, so I am sleeping a
Oh,
little later, but I'm getting up and I'm doing things. Now you can't tell today because I, was doing a lot of work before I started recording with the person before you, but I've even been trying to like make sure I get my shower done in the morning, go ahead and get like my skincare done, things like that. So I am trying to build in more rituals of like doing things to make myself feel better. It's that whole
yeah,
what do they call it? Like dopamine dressing. This is the like every time I look at my little nails, dopamine, like it gives you a boost to
yeah,
do things that you don't want to do without even realizing it because you feel good from the inside out. And so I am taking the
yeah,
prep work more seriously because I didn't want to do press-ons before because listen, I would be so embarrassed when one would pop off in public. Okay. Why? I don't know, but I really
yeah.
just would. And so now I don't have to worry about that. I've learned how to I watched a lot of tutorials. I got good products. But these press-ons, $5. I searched and searched for this design until I found them for $5.
That's awesome.
I know. And I did
Also,
all that
because you
work.
bring up another good point. So the prep work is part of it, but just having healthy nails in general helps it last longer, and the prep work helps maintain the healthy nail.
Yeah. Well, and now that I know how to cut my cuticles, I'm really excited to do my toes again because they don't look good. They do not look good. And
Oh
I
yeah, I
didn't do the
go.
right kind of prep work on them because that's a huge step on your toes, is the how bad your cuticles
Yeah,
get.
I go all in on my toes. Yeah, like I actually cut my cuticles
Yeah,
because they
I'm
can get
going
kind of
to,
gnarly.
but I don't do my toes. Whoops, drop my phone. Near as often as I do my hands. But I'm telling you, those last set, not a single one popped off, and they lasted for 2 weeks. And before that,
Yeah, and for
only one
$5.
thumb came off. Yeah, like I'm getting a really good deal on them, and I'm having so much fun with it. And Charlie really likes them, so usually I'll split the box with her because she takes the smaller ones and I take the bigger ones. So it's like we've just been having a good time with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like nice because I don't, and I use regular polish on my nails, but I also don't like gel polish. I think that because you have to use acetone to remove it,
Yeah.
and that like destroys your nails. So I think that's also healthier for your nails because you're
I
just
had
using glue,
so
right?
much issues with gel, so much that and like I've said before, it was just a service I just no longer felt joy from getting. Like I like to look down at my nails, but then also if you spend $40 or more and then 3 days later you get a chip in the nail polish to no fault of the person who did them, but
Right.
still it's still like god damn, I wanted them to look good for 2 weeks, and
I
man, I
know.
can do dishes, I can do all kinds of stuff, and nothing happened to my nails. And that was a really big part of like what made me feel good when I was, you know, dressed up and whatever, is that my nails look put together, you know.
Yeah, and I'm all about, because I know this sounds vain, and truly everything you need about like self-worth and confidence does come from inside, but I'm all about like the little external boost that you can do to yourself. Like for instance, today I was feeling tired, so I'm like, I'm gonna wear my flower earrings to like,
Yes,
hype
yeah.
myself up a little bit. I don't
Yes.
think there's anything wrong with that.
There's not. And listen, I think that we've just been fed a really false narrative around this, that like you are trying to please other people or impress other people or whatever. But listen, I went through a phase. I would say the last year, just because slowly working at home, I've quit because I used to curl my hair every day for work. Because
Yeah.
I felt good. But then over the last year, like not wearing makeup out as often, doing things like that. There's nothing wrong with that, but I noticed that I didn't put myself out there as much, and I didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's lots of things that in not just fixing my hair or um not wearing earrings. You know, like I'm not wearing any today and it feels
Yeah.
different than when I just put in my little tarot earrings and I'm like, that's right, I'm the empress up in this bitch. That's for me.
Exactly.
That's not for anyone
Yeah.
but me. And there is such a thing as dopamine dressing. I mean, a lot of people in the astrology space talk about it because it really does change how you feel, the energy that you're in when you feel good about what putting on my Empress earrings because I identify with the Empress card and tarot so
Yeah.
much. Um, it reminds me who the fuck I am. That's not for anyone else. I mean, sure, I like all the compliments I get on the earrings, but the reason I get those compliments is because it reminds them too. They love that because they're like, oh yeah, Empress,
Yeah,
you
because
know?
you compliment someone on like have you ever heard that? Like you usually compliment something on the things you admire in them that are like reflecting back to the things that you really like in yourself, but you just don't
No, but
acknowledge
that
in
makes
yourself.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, truly, that's how all relationships work. Is all the good shit you see in someone
Yeah.
else is only the things in yourself that you're unwilling to see, but you feel it. You know that those things are you. You know, and bad
It's
things
kind of like
too.
the negative triggers are usually things reflecting back to you as well. Oh,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I follow this girl on YouTube. She talks a lot about like etiquette and elegance, and she herself, like, she's very high class, like, she's always wearing designer brands. So, in her comments, she gets a lot of heat, and she's also very skinny. So, in her comment, so she'll talk about posture and things like that. So, but she gets a lot of I almost said hate. Yeah, I would go as far as to say that. But people criticize her because they're like, well, I don't have money to do this, or I'm not skinny like you to have good posture. And she's like, It's nothing, it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with your body type. It has everything to do basically what you just said. It's like about identity and like embodying someone who like
Yes.
treats themselves and, wants to look nice for themselves.
Yeah, and $5 is well within my budget for
Yeah,
some
and
cute
that's her
nails, you
point.
know?
Like you don't like
Yeah.
yeah, she wears designer brands, but you don't have to wear designer
You
brands.
don't, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel great. Like, there for a minute, I mean, I was spending a little too much money at this point in my life, but I was wearing a bunch of Temu shit, but like, I loved it. Like, the things that make me feel good when I put it on my body, even sometimes just a cute, like joggers, like a matching set,
Yeah.
like because I can lean a little more in the masculine dressing and still feel really good, you know. But
And
like
that's her whole
when
point.
I feel
Yeah.
put together, yes, and it's exclusive to you. What do you if you are watching someone? This is such a good observation. What you're talking about. If you're watching someone and you're going, judgment about design, judgment about body type, judgment about the fact that you even care enough to put effort. I'm putting air quotes if you're listening and not watching around effort. Um into your appearance like this. Well, that's vain, that's conceited, that's ego. And it's like, baby, projection. So
Exactly.
who told you that you're doing too much? Who called you too much in your life? Who? Because
Exactly.
that's what's showing up in that conversation. And it's very much you going, I've been too much in my life and now I'm not enough to put
Yeah.
effort into what I'm doing. Do I give a shit if somebody else doesn't want to like dress up or curl their hair or no, I don't care. But I only care if you're now going to talk shit to the people who do. Because I've
Yeah.
definitely known those people who are like, well, but I don't. No, no, no. And guess what? I've been that person too. I've been that person too. And I do whatever the fuck you want, man. I'm just saying you will feel better if
Yeah.
if even this is something that I noticed. I know I've told you about this, but this is something I noticed after losing Jake is literally I got one pair of matching pajamas and then got addicted because I was like, "Oh my god, I feel so comfortable but slash cute and just like soft and held and like look at me, I'm wearing cute pajamas." And it made such a fucking difference in how I felt. I bought so many cheap pairs of matching pajamas, but they were cute and I just liked them. It's actually what made me start like romanticizing things and getting in that energy where you're just like, oh, I'm the girl who does skincare. I'm the girl who does nail.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with it.
It's
And in
about
fact, it's so
identity.
good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's an energy. If you're
Yeah.
in the morning stepping up to the mirror and brushing your teeth, first of all, if you're not even aware enough or present enough to know what you're thinking or feeling in those moments, baby, you got to get a little more grounded. But let's say you're present and you're grounded and all you can think is like, well, I don't have anyone to impress, so I don't need to wear whatever. And if you feel 100% confident walking out the door, just brushing your teeth, throwing some sweats on, whatever, and you can show up authentically you in any scenario thrown your way all day long, however you show up, great. That's great. But if you're like finding yourself shrinking or you not using your voice in certain circumstances because you found that you're a little bit contracted and bracing or you're not embracing who you are in a certain situation, I guarantee if you just add a little bit, it's kind of like standing in Superman pose. Whatever you
Yeah.
need to do to get into that energy, I'm just trying to do all of it. I'm standing in Superman pose. I put on a lipstick the other day. You know, like I love earrings. I love these little nails, whatever it takes. And I'm not shaming or judging anyone who chooses not to do that. I'm only saying you are a bitch if you do that and talk shit to somebody
Yeah.
else who makes a different choice than you. And there is science behind what we're saying.
Exactly. And on the Superman pose, like that never worked for me, but I do what I call, I flip it back and forth between, I either call it a goddess walk or celebrity walk, but it's like walking like you own the place. Because, like, if I get nervous, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to walk in like I'm a celebrity.
Yup. You know, that's very Empress for me in the whole like the reason I started leaning into the Empress was the first phrase was, I don't chase, I attract. And
Yeah.
just saying the words out loud would make me stand up taller and my shoulders would go back. And then if I needed to walk into a room where I just want to show up as me, I can be shy if I'm shy. I can be whatever it is, because people don't believe that about me, that I'm very shy in a lot of situations. I don't like small talk. I don't want to come pretend to be something I'm not. So if I walk into a room full of people, I know at least half of them are going to expect to have meaningless conversation. I don't want to do it. And I used to care a lot
Yeah.
about that. Now I don't. So I just get into that energy of like, I'm going to attract the conversations I want. And yeah, the way your body moves when you get into that energy is totally different than, oh my God, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. Please don't talk. You know what I mean? Like that. And that, listen, I've entered rooms like that plenty of times. And the Superman pose did actually help me when I was taking my clinical licensure exam. But I've, I've added to that as time has gone on, because the Empress really is about this. I am fucking in charge of me.
Yeah.
I'm in control here. Not because other shit's not going to happen, but when it does, I'm going to allow me to be me. I'm going to be authentically me, and I'm going to take anything that comes my way and I am going to let it empower me. And I am embodied. I am very embodied. And that's what all of that energy means to me. And just putting on the earrings reminds me of who I am, and it makes me
Yeah.
so happy. I think there's nothing wrong with feeling empowered in your everyday life. I think there's everything right with feeling empowered, because you are the one with the power. You're the one with the magic. Like, I even, in astrology, I was listening to somebody talk this morning, and you know that phrase on Grey's Anatomy, I think I've talked to you about it before, I don't know, but when Christina's leaving the show, she tells Meredith, like, he's very dreamy, but he's not the sun, you are. And I don't know why that resonated with me so much, but I've taken it with me and I've even used it in a couple of posts and whatever. But today, so I'm sure that your astrology is just like mine, but our Venus is very close to our sun. And I was thinking, because my yours is different. My seventh house, which is the house of relationships, is ruled by Venus because it's Libra. And my Venus is in the third house, which means that I'm going to meet people, like the loves of my lives have always been met through mutual friends, like through talking and whatever with mutual friends. And I was thinking about that. That was what the video was about. And I was like, oh yeah, that definitely happened with me. And then I was like, wait a second, because they were talking about planets that are right by each other by Venus. And I was like, my sun is right by my Venus. And I thought, yeah, because I am the fucking sun. I'm the light. I'm the magic. Not because nobody
Yeah.
else is, but I don't need to worry about anybody else's light or anybody else's magic. I just have to stay in mine. And how often have we looked at someone else and then removed ourselves because they were so bright or whatever? And it's like, no, I'm just as bright and we can all shine together, which all sounds really corny and cheesy, I'm sure, but
Yeah, I get what
it's
you're saying.
true.
Yeah, it's hard for me sometimes to like ground woo-woo stuff into words, but I totally understood what you said.
Yeah, I just think we spend so much time comparing, and I really think that that's what videos like the one you're talking about really hit on is, and I think I might know who you're talking about because I think she might be on TikTok too, and I
Her
think I
name's
saw
Jamila.
something. Do
I
what?
can't pronounce her last name. Jamila's her first name. I can't
I'm
ever
gonna
pronounce
have
her
to
last
look
name.
because I
I'll
ran
send it
across
to
a
you.
TikTok of someone saying I got a lot of shit on my video about this, and it was about wearing designer clothes and whatever. And I'm gonna look because I remember being like, yeah, good for you, man. But I think just as women, you know, the beauty industry really has spent so much money on the opposite of positive psychology to get
Yeah.
us to buy in. So whether you are a person who uses makeup every day or expensive skin care routines, Botox, whatever it is that people are doing, I just don't think it's our place to judge. If you feel super great how you are, be super great how you are. Why does that need to include a judgment of someone else? Whatever it is that people do, let them be, because we have enough people rooting against us as women. We
I
don't need
know.
to do this to each other.
Exactly. I know, because even like things like Botox, like I don't particularly like it for myself, but like if other people do want to do that to feel better, like I have no judgment against that because I get it. Like, yeah, I would love to like get rid of some of my wrinkles. The main reason I don't like Botox is because my eyes are sensitive to sunlight, but when I surf, I don't wear sunglasses. So I need to be able to squint, which actually makes my
Yeah.
wrinkles worse. But if I get Botox, I can't squint. And so I got Botox
Yeah.
once and had to like close my eyes to like shield them from the light. It was horrible.
Really?
Yeah, so that's the main reason I don't get Botox. Otherwise, I would. But I have no judgment against it because, like, why not do a little thing that makes you feel better about yourself? Also, another thing I like about her, because the reason I know she wears designer brands is because at the end of the video, she does like an outfit of the day where she talks about the brands and stuff. But even then, like, she'll be like, okay, I'm wearing Prada shoes. But, like, she's not the kind of person that has a different kind of shoes every single video. Like she wears the same Prada shoes that she's had for years because she's like, the reason she likes designer brands is because they last a long time. Like she doesn't have 10 pairs. She has like one or two pairs and she like appreciates it for
Well,
the quality. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
she's
but
not.
like if you have the money and that's where you want to spend it, why is it anybody else's business? Like that's, and
Yeah.
they listen, every major brand has dupes, every single
Yeah.
one. So it's kind of like going, oh, you wear real Birkenstocks? Like, okay, what? Like, who cares? I don't
Yeah.
understand that because there was a time in my life where I definitely cared about branding. I don't now, but I think only because they make really cute stuff,
Yeah.
not branded, but like I'm not intimidated by Prada. Like it's
Yeah.
not a priority for me, but if
Yeah,
it
I
is
think
for
some
you,
people are
that's
really excited
fine.
by it.
Yes.
Well, her whole thing is it's not about the price. She's like it has because she talks a lot about how good fitting clothes look good. So she's like, it doesn't matter if it's designer or from Amazon, as long as it fits well and looks good and you feel good. That's all that matters. She even says these things, and people still come after her.
Well, because of their own insecurities. That's the
Yeah,
thing. And it drives me wild because the more that I have I've flown the spectrum like of putting a lot of effort in to not a lot of effort, and the thing I can speak very to my own personal experience. The less I care, I'm going to use the word care in quotes, about how I look, the worse I feel. It's not, I think there's some other factors related, like perhaps I woke up more tired today. I woke up a little more tired and I got busy, so I didn't put in the effort to self-care. But because I was busy, I also didn't I have not eaten today and I have not drank a fucking ounce of water. I've been sipping on this energy drink since I woke up this morning. So like that plays a factor too. But I'm
yeah.
also sitting in the things I slept in last night. I would feel better physically if I had showered, cleaned my armpits. I'm only shaving like once a month right now.
Oh,
And I
really?
wish to God I was doing a better job. But like, I get a Brazilian wax every 4 weeks. So like on those days I've been shaving. But like
Oh, I
I'm
get
I'm
it.
not doing a great job shaving right now. I'm just not. But I would feel better if I did. I would feel better if I had shaved. I did sunless tan a couple of years ago. Like I stayed really on top of it with like some really good products that were cheap and whatever because I felt better having a little bit of sun on me, and I have to wear so much sunscreen because of like my skin type, you know?
Yeah.
And I felt good. And I don't give a fuck what anybody else says about sunless tanning. I felt good. So I did it. Haven't done it the last two. I didn't do it. We're moving into now spring. So like I could do it now. And I didn't do it at all last summer. And it did make a difference in how I felt in certain things. So what?
You bring up a good point, though. I think it's all about awareness and doing things with attention. Because even earlier, when you were talking about brushing your teeth, I used to be on autopilot for like 80% of the day. So now, even when I brush my teeth, I try to be very intentional about it because when you
Mm-hmm.
like tune out and go into autopilot is when, like, it just feeds into this whole concept of not caring about how you look and then not feeling good. And it's like this snowball effect. So even just
Yes.
being intentional about things makes you feel better about yourself because then you can be
Yes.
aware of like what makes you feel good and what doesn't.
When I am trying to teach other people mindfulness, the first step that I give them is whichever routine you are very much in, brushing your teeth usually is one of them.
Yeah, that's a
Every
good one
time
to
you brush
start.
your teeth, I want you to start naming the steps of the brushing. I am grabbing my toothpaste. Because presence is hard. It's a hard thing to
Yeah.
learn. It took me a while to get out of my brain. I did 95% of my life on autopilot when I was in my mental health crisis. Like that is why I was getting lost walking from my bedroom to the
Yep.
living room and being in the hallway like shit, what was I doing? Why am I standing here? Driving very dissociated, like all the things. And so
Driving is
I
another
had to
good place
start.
to practice.
Yes. So whatever your routine is, start there and name the steps because then you can be where your feet are,
Yeah.
and that's a really important step in quieting noise is learning to live in this moment. That's the one thing that I've gotten even more fortified in since losing Jake is just being where my feet are because none of the other shit's going to help me out. I mean, I'm noticing some areas where I can be a little dismissive too, and I probably need to like feel a little bit more in those moments, but thinking's not going to get you out of anything. It's just not.
Right.
Unless you have a logical problem to be solved, which emotions are not, your brain shouldn't be used like that. It should be very much like what's happening in my surroundings right now. How do I feel about my environment right now
That's another
instead of
one.
all of that
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah. Amen.
Well, it's a process for sure. And I mean, I just think we're spending a lot of time hating on ourselves and then anything that we're not really aware of, we're going to project on other people. So I hope that anybody listening just starts to take note of the judgments that they're making on others because I started to notice, like, damn, I am a judgmental bitch. Like,
Yeah.
I be judging the shit out of everyone. And I was just very self righteous about it. Like, well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's fine for them, but I mean, like, some people, like things like that all the time. And I started, I've told you this before, but when I wanted to unravel what my shame was, I started with understanding why I was making the judgments that I was on others, because every judgment I made tied back to a shame I felt about myself. So I try not to live in judgment because ultimately, whatever you are judging external of you is an internal judgment. You're
Oh,
not
for sure.
going to judge anything in anyone else that you are not also judging in yourself. It may not be the exact same thing, but it is rooted in you and your personal judgments because I don't believe that people who would shit on someone for the things that they wear are doing that because they don't like the things that person's wearing.
Exactly. It's deeper for sure.
Yeah,
And once you
I
understand
don't.
that, you start reading negative comments on the internet differently, even ones that are not directed toward you. Like, for instance, the
Oh,
way
yeah.
I read hers, I'm like, oh, that's just so sad.
No, exactly. And that is why, like, I was so glad I kind of learned that to where I stopped taking things so personally. Um, and can really feel compassion because listen, I've told you, people on the internet are wild. I was glad I figured that out before I started getting weird comments on YouTube, because I would have taken all of that so personally before. Now I'll like it and heart it so that I can get the engagement. But like, I'm not going to give you another thought because damn, the audacity to like say to a stranger the shit
I
that
know.
people say, I will never understand it. I will never understand it. Now, if you
People have
rage bait
gotten
me
way
on
too
some shit,
comfortable.
maybe. But yeah, but like making comments on your glasses, things like that, like I'm never
Yeah.
going to understand that except for my understanding of human behavior. So that allows me to be like, wow, you are not a happy person, are you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild actually. I'm not going to take that personally. You're not happy. Why would I, why would I, Now, it's different when people say, are you open to feedback? That's different because,
Oh
yeah, I
yeah.
am. I'm open to that. But just shitty little, and what makes me laugh every time I like hit the thumbs up on a shitty comment, because I won't see them right away, right? So I giggle to myself because I think they totally fucking forgot they wrote this. And now with a little bit of
Now you're gonna
perspective,
remind them.
yes, now with a little bit of perspective, there's no fucking way they're not going to feel a little bit like a dick, at least for a second. And so I always giggle because I'm like, oh shit, this was written 2 weeks ago and I'm just now seeing it. And then they have to be like, why the fuck did I say that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually like that. It's a little petty.
Yeah,
I like it.
you're gonna be a dick on the internet. I get a little bit of joy from I because I haven't come up with a hard, fast way that I want to approach shitty people on the internet. I just have chosen to ignore it. Because I love them spicy creators out there that will just
Yeah.
talk shit right back, that will put up the profile picture of the person talking
Oh
the
yeah.
shit and all of the things. I love those people. I just haven't decided if that's how I want to approach things. And actually, have I talked to you about that girl on the internet that does makeup like to look like celebrities, and then if somebody talks shit on the post, she will pull up their profile picture and do her makeup to look like that person. Oh my god.
I
It
love
is
that.
so funny. I'm gonna have to find her and send her to you, but yes, she
Yes,
will.
I see.
And
I'm
girl, she
spiritual, but
she
I
does
can
them
get petty.
dirty. She gets they wrinkles. I mean, like their smokers lines. Like she goes in, and it does look like very similar to them. She'll put a wig on and everything because that's how she does her celebrity looks. And she's just sitting there doing the thing, and people are
Also,
like,
it's
that doesn't
creative and part
look
of her
like that.
brand.
Exactly. Oh my god, dude. And see, that's why I'm like, I love this. Like maybe I do want to be
So
spicy when people are
there's something
shitty.
petty I do, but only on YouTube because in YouTube, if you reply to someone's comment, you can put a link. So did I ever tell you this? Like months ago, I made a video on unsolicited advice and how it's a trauma response, blah blah blah. So whenever someone on YouTube makes a negative comment about me, I reply and I'm like, "Hi, you might like this video," and I put the link to the unsolicited advice.
Do you ever get anything back from that?
Oh no. Because probably to your point, they forget that they posted it and then they're reminded and then they probably are like, ooh.
Sometimes I want to go back after I like something and see if they ended up deleting it because
Yeah, see, I never
I
check on
know
that
people are just
either.
out there just doing it without thinking.
And that's what's scary about it. Like, that's their, like, autopilot response, just to, like, yeah, I just don't get it. Like, and trust me, I've had the internal judgments, like, oh, I don't like this post. But then I just keep scrolling. I cannot ever imagine verbalizing it to that person.
Right. But I will say this. I'm going to take this a step further. Even on Facebook where we know each other, now before you could bait me into a comment, like I would, because it would piss me off so bad. And now I just hide that person and I don't see any of their stuff anymore because they drive me crazy. And I'm going to expect you to do the same thing. Don't come
Yeah.
on my shit saying your little shit. Go talk to your little people who have the same opinion about this. Y'all go talk over there because this is my Facebook. So now I have gotten so sassy about stuff that I post. Like I'll be like, maybe it's about like supporting something. I'll be like, and if you don't support, this is not a place for your hate. You go hate out elsewhere. Or I don't do this a lot if I post like Elf on the Shelf. People have very strong feelings about Elf on the Shelf. Okay.
Oh, really?
Yes, they do. And I would post like, we got this kit from such and such for Elf on the Shelf. And I was like, and if you hate Elf on the Shelf, that's fine. Just keep scrolling. You don't need to tell me you hate it. Because that's how the internet works is,
Yeah.
ew, I'm so glad Elf on the Shelf wasn't around when my kids were small. Go talk to someone else about that shit. Because I'm saying my
What
kid is
don't
doing Elf
people
on the
like
Shelf.
about it?
I don't know.
Oh,
Let me be honest. Because I was a person who would be like, ugh, before Charlie like reached the age of Elf on the Shelf, because what I really thought was, I'm a little sad that something this fun wasn't around when my boys were small, but also, god damn, that seems like it's going to take a lot of energy, and I'm not enough. And that's the
Okay, I
truth.
could see
That's the
that. Or if
truth.
you're not creative, yeah.
Exactly. It just brings out like, oh my God, that just feels really overwhelming and da 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 da. So what I'm going to do is hate on it and tell you you're stupid for enjoying it. Listen, I used to be really bad about this in terms of my super creative friends. For instance, you doing your own nails and doing all the prep and whatever, a couple years ago, I probably would have had some real judgments about that because it's not something I could do. So,
And
I
what
would be
would
like,
your response be? Because I have people criticize my nails, and I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Would that be
I,
your response to like,
not like the design itself, just more like,
oh,
why would you spend that much time doing such and
uh,
such? Shit like that. And I mean, like my little Pinterest crafty friends who would rather go spend 3 times the amount to create something themselves than to go buy it somewhere, I would have harsh judgments about that because I was
yeah,
not creative. I was not someone who could see the magic in creating something yourself. So, yeah, I'm going to shit on your thing because I don't have it. That's human nature. It's what didn't make it right.
yeah,
But I can see why other people do that to me. And I'm like, okay, that sounds like a you problem, sis, because that's not my problem. Like, you don't see the magic in creating this little finger knitted blinking? Well, you're stupid. That's that. But I would do stuff like that. So now I'm just so sassy. If I post something, I'm like, don't come at me with your shit. Go talk to your people. I already know.
yeah.
Listen, I'm a fucking Gemini. I have screenshotted your post 1,000 times and talked shit about you. Yes, I have. That's who I was in my former life. It was the only way I knew how to connect with people. You can do that. You have my full permission to screenshot my shit and talk shit in your group chat. But don't come to me with it
Just don't do
because
it on
I
my
don't
page.
fucking care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. And I'm going to tell you how stupid you are for coming to me with your little bullshit that you're that unaware of your own insecurities that you're coming to me with it. I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know about it. And listen, everything that I've just said is very sassy, and I get that. And it's probably going to trigger some people because people don't want to admit that it is their own insecurities that create that shit. But
Yeah.
now, is there part of me that still would be like, I hear you about your lack of hours in the day, and yet your perfectionism on your crafting is really holding you back, and you're
Yeah.
not seeing that. That's different, though, than it's stupid that you want to craft and create versus like you doing this to yourself, honey, because you be spending a lot of time on shit that you don't like. You could just like, it looks good, but you're not believing it looks good, so you're like redoing and whatever. Again, I'm not going to say that to them though, but like where I have to deal with myself in that because I really am not judging them. It just gets to a place where I'm like, I'm at capacity. I cannot hear about this same shit over and over when all you'd have to do is work on your perfectionism. But really, what I'm actually saying there is I feel useless in this scenario because I don't have any, like, I've already had the perfectionism talk with you. You're not getting it. It's not, that's not our role in our
Yeah.
relationships. I really am having to learn how to just sit there and go, you feel really overwhelmed. And that's tough. Doesn't matter what their choices are. Doesn't matter if they're overwhelmed and yet they're making the time to prep their nails or to create the craft or bleach their hair at home. Whatever it is, I just think that let's take that next step. That's where I'm trying to get to because my natural instinct is to judge. It's always going to be my natural instinct because I was judging the shit out of myself and because
Yeah.
it's so easy for me to get wrapped up in some sort of thought spiral about anything than to just sit with feelings. And the truth is, when someone is explaining to me how overwhelmed they feel, I'm so sad for them. And I'm just trying to dismiss my own sad by trying to come to their
Yeah.
rescue. So I'm trying really hard to see my own patterns in all of these judgments, and I don't make the shitty judgments like I used to. But I think a lot of times we as humans can get to this place where we're like, well, but I've already heard this so many times. And I think the only reason we care is it makes us feel powerless. And so
Yeah.
let's just sit in our own shit a little bit more. And then that's when the curiosity is going to come. Like, why do I care if they paint their own nails? I really don't. I really don't care. I do feel insecure. I mean, that it it didn't take me that long to realize I was feeling insecure, but it did take me a long time to admit it. Even to myself,
Yeah.
like, I think you only feel that way because you're insecure. Now I mean, I don't love saying that to the internet. It doesn't, like, I'm not like proud of
Yeah.
it, but it is what it is. I have insecurities. It pops up. Now I go, ooh, you was about to think something shitty just because you're insecure. Maybe that. Maybe let's work on that. Do
Yeah,
that.
I wish more people would do that. Because, yeah, I get it though. It takes a lot to admit that you're your own worst enemy, but having that thought process totally changes your life.
Yes, yes. Well, you're your own worst enemy, and this really is all about you. Like
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend yesterday about their partner, and like everything's about them. If I'm saying this, it becomes about them and blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, but that's because it's all about them. Like their shit's all about them and your shit's all about you. Like, as
Hmm.
a person who made every last fucking thing on this earth about me, I'm real tender towards people who are doing that because I'm like, I get it. I did that so badly. I
I
did
know.
that so badly. Everything was badly. Are you saying? And they'd be like, not even a little bit. Like, how did that get shifted like that? And even I had an experience with Brian the other day where I was telling him about something I was really proud of and explaining a concept to somebody. And he responded with some weirdness that I was like, huh. Like he was like his face and what he was saying was very much like, yeah, like that's really cool that you did that. But the words were like, basically, if somebody was, I was explaining to somebody about their subconscious narratives and how what everything we will do to confirm that narrative, right? And so
Hmm.
he's like, yeah. And like if somebody was using that word with me, that's just like a really fluffy word, and I would just ignore it because like it doesn't really mean anything. But he was saying it in a way that I was like, I'm so fucking confused right now because your body language and your facial expressions are not matching the word. So I go, feels like you're saying I didn't do a very good job at explaining it. And he said,
Hmm.
no, I that's not what I'm saying. I go, and that's why I'm pausing and giving you a second to explain what you're actually saying before I lose my shit. And then he did not explain it any better, and he was very much like, I because of this particular conversation, I could tell he does not know, but I could see he was triggered by what I was saying, that like he shuts down in conflict and all these things. And so I was like, interesting. And for a second, how I felt was so unseen and so misunderstood and so invalidated. And then I was like, does Brian need to validate you for you to have done a really good job in explaining that concept to this person? No. Especially Brian, who's pretty emotionally immature, like in terms of awareness. So I was like, no, I'm really frustrated with him, but like, I could, I really transmuted this because there's been thousands of times when I didn't feel validated by him that I was like, and he just doesn't appreciate me and he doesn't get me and he doesn't whatever. And you know what the truth is, those things are true because he can't understand what I'm saying. And I did a really good job explaining this concept to this person,
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
I did. And what I do matters, and I don't need him to validate. It doesn't make the things I'm doing any less valid for him to not understand all of it. And even just him and the way he was in that conversation, which was very bizarre to me, but I was like, okay, I am so confused by this conversation, but I'm going to move on. And I was pissed for a little bit. Like, I was pretty agitated. And I even told myself, and that's okay. Like, I've been going through the motions of what we talked about last week a lot of like, all right, that triggered you that he just responded that way. And okay, great, no problems. And I just kind of kept moving. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going to feel that as long as it sits here. It left pretty quickly because I did the thing where I was like, why are you upset? Okay, what's the truth in this situation? The truth
Yeah.
is we don't need his approval to be good at what we're doing. Move on. And the emotion was still in my body. I could feel just the tension and whatever. But as I just like naturally gravitated towards things that make me feel happy and whatever, that moved out. And talking about it, I'm annoyed at him still. Like, when I think about it, I'm like, that was annoying, but I don't care, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just that level of awareness is huge. Because even how you were like describing the feelings in your body, because sometimes the knee jerk reaction is like, I want this feeling to go away. So then you engage in something dysfunctional to try to make
Yes.
it go away. And then you just like
And I
spiral into
almost
this.
did. I almost
Yeah.
did. Like, I literally took a step back, literally stepped back and was like, nope, I recognize a pattern here. And this would be a whole argument that lasts for 3 days if I allow it. And I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not even going to take the time to explain to him what he said and why I feel the way I
Yeah.
feel about it because I already know. Like, his baseline is that any of my communication is an attempt to manipulate him. He believes that with everything in him, and I'm not going to fight against that. If I need to say something, I will. Otherwise, I don't because that situation was not worth any sort of engagement. And I was like, oh my God, this is where it happens. Where I get triggered because I feel unseen and then I lash out because I don't know what to do with that hurt that I felt for a second. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing it. I don't have the energy for everything that's going to come if I open my mouth right now. So I took that step back and I was like, do do do, walked away. Like just walked in my room and started working on whatever I was working on. I was like, do do do, not doing this, not doing this. He
Yeah,
has his beliefs. I
unfortunately,
have
the
mine.
awareness comes from past mistakes.
Girl, you already know. You already know. Lots of them. Lots of them. But this is what I'm saying. This is a beautiful real life example of how I have seen myself react in a way that didn't feel good emotionally,
Yeah,
physically, or spiritually. And instead of shaming myself, said, what would I do differently next time? This is me
exactly.
doing it differently next time. It's not because I don't need to externalize things that are in my head and in my heart, and I do when they need to be. But I'm not going to create a mountain out of a molehill in a situation like that. I've been through this experience way too many times to know he was just saying things as it was coming, up for him. And if I can sit in a very calm and safe place to help him explain what the hell he actually meant by that, great. But if I can't, it's not good for him or me to do what I would always do. And so that is me saying, I want to do this differently this time. That's not mean I'm gonna do it great the next time. Who knows?
Yeah.
But my subconscious triggered me right then to go, hey, this is one of those times. You could do this differently because that's what accountability is. It's not going, I do whatever the fuck I want whenever that I want to. That's how it sounds when I'm saying that I
Yeah.
forgive myself so easily. And I get for people who haven't gotten to this step yet, it does sound like I'm like, oh, free for all. And in some ways I am because I don't believe we are inherently bad and wanting to walk around hurting everyone. I think we pile on shame and complicate our lives to a degree that is insurmountable, and that is why we continue those patterns. But I think
Yeah.
when you give yourself the freedom to be human and to make any of the mistakes that happen naturally, because we are inherently good, and your level of accountability just says, I'm worth living a life full of love and joy and belonging, and I want to act in alignment to those things. This didn't feel like that. So how can I get closer to
Yeah.
that next time? I think that's what accountability is.
Yeah, and to tie this into all the other stuff we were talking about before, when you have that level of self awareness and self compassion for yourself, then that's what you start projecting on other people instead of the judgments.
You're exactly right. Because you and I have even had this conversation before where you're like, you see someone doing something, you go, girl, like someone having boundaries now. Like where we used to respond negatively to that before, we're like, hell yeah, queen. Hell yeah. And someone, you know, shit, even just putting themselves out on the internet. I'm like, good job. I don't even give a
Same.
shit what your content is now. Like,
Exactly.
good for you for doing it. You're exactly right. And you know what? That's a piece of awareness that I haven't necessarily stepped into as much because I still can sometimes shame myself whenever those natural judgments of others come up. Because let me be clear, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying
Agree.
I see
Same.
it and I get the fuck out of it whenever it does.
Same.
Yes, somebody that I find really beautiful talking back at me can trigger some insecurities, which is going to come out as a judgment. Yes, that can happen, but I stop that shit in its tracks and I go, she's beautiful, I'm beautiful. We don't need to compare. Her light doesn't dim mine. We can all shine. And so, yes, I think you're exactly right. Being aware allows you to celebrate other people in the same manner that you're celebrating yourself, because that's what love and that's what compassion is. The more you
Yes.
extend it to yourself, that's when you can extend it to others, because we cannot extend to others what we are unable to give to ourselves. Period.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Oh, that was like really heartwarming. That was like a perfect way to tie it all in a bow.
Well, this was fun. I had so much fun with you. I always do, but
I know, likewise.
okay. Well, I will see you next week then.
Bye.
Hello. Before you go, make sure to check the show notes for all the links. You can join us on Patreon to get our weekly companion, The Unquiet Lowdown, and explore the other membership offers waiting for you there. And if you're enjoying the show, it means so much when you hit that follow button and give us a 5-star rating to help other souls find their way here.